Before any single word was ever spoken, humans were talking with their hands. But the real first speech sounds only about 70,000 years old. That means for over 200,000 years, gesture was the language. Scientists call it the gestural theory of language origin, and the evidence is wild. Apes learn hand signs way faster than they learn speech. And the mirror neurons in our brain, the ones that fire when we act and when we watch, they only respond to hand movement, not sound. Aboriginal Australia. 50,000 years ago, Aboriginal Australians built one of the oldest continuous cultures on Earth, and to this day some communities still sign, not because they have to, because tradition and taboo demand silence at certain times: mourning, initiation and the hunt. Greece and Rome. Greece and Rome. 5th century BC, Plato records Socrates asking, if we had no voice, wouldn't we speak with our hands? But Rome wasn't as kind. Roman law denied deaf people the right to even sign a will. Aristotle claimed deaf people couldn't reason at all. The monks. Fast forward to medieval Europe, monks under sacred vows of silence built entire sign systems just to survive daily life without breaking their oath. Native America. Across North America plains, Indian Sign Language became the universal language between tribes in 1885. Over 110,000 people spoke it fluently. Lewis and Clark used it, explorers used it, even the US military learned it, because hands don't need translation. This next one got me. If you've never heard of the Ottoman genocide, go and research the Ottoman genocide, and this is I don't know, but I mean, could this be the reason why the juice boxes did it? The Ottoman court. Here's the one nobody knows, the Ottoman court. 1600s deaf servants weren't sidelined, they were favoured, because in the Sultan's presence even a whisper was disrespectful. So the entire court learned sign, including the Sultans themselves. Martha's Vineyard. Massachusetts, 1700s, one island had so much hereditary deafness, in some towns 1 in 4 people were deaf, that everyone signed. Deaf hearing didn't matter, there was no barrier. Alexander Graham Bell came to study it himself. Speech is maybe 70,000 years old, but the hands, they never stop talking. Sign language isn't a backup plan for when words fail. It might be where language began, and it never actually left. Their plan has always been to separate humanity. They've wiped out sign language. That was a worldwide language, everyone understood it, like you had to learn it in certain cultures. They've wiped it out pretty much, but relearn it. In 1880, a room full of hearing men voted to ban a language, not a foreign language, not a dead language, the natural language of an entire community, one that still hadn't done anything wrong. This is the story of the conference that tried to erase sign language. One that still hadn't done anything wrong. This is the story of the conference that tried to erase sign language. Milan, Italy, September 1880, the Second International Congress on Education of the Deaf. On paper it sounds like a normal academic conference, in reality it was rigged before it even started. The organisers of the Prior Society were devoted to one method only: oralism, lip reading, speech therapy, no hands allowed. Of the 12 speakers invited to give their opinion, 9 were oralists, only 3 defended sign language, including deaf education pioneers, the Galilei brothers. The outcome was decided before a single vote was cast. The delegates declared oral education superior to sign. They passed a resolution: sign language was banned from deaf education worldwide. Only 2 delegations objected, the United States and Britain. They were outvoted, ignored, and just like that an entire language was legislated out of the classroom. The damage was immediate and brutal. Between 1880 and 1920, roughly 80% of deaf schools switched to oral-only education. Deaf teachers, the very people who understood these students best, were fired and replaced with hearing instructors. Children caught signing were punished, hands slapped with rulers, sometimes tied together just for using the only language that came natural to them. This period is remembered by the deaf community as the dark age of deaf education. But here's the part they didn't plan for: sign language didn't die, it went underground, passed on in homes, deaf clubs, churches, generations to generation.
completely outside the official system. Then in the 1960s, linguist William Stokoe proved that deaf people already knew sign language wasn't a broken substitute for speech. It had its own grammar, its own structure, it was a real, full language. Science had fully caught up. It took 130 years. In 2010, at the same Congress that had once banned it, deaf educators formally apologised. They called the original ban what it was, a violation of human and constitutional rights. A century of children lost access to language communication, even their own identity, because one rigged vote in one room in Milan. This is an ancient history, it's 140 years old, and it's proof that language doesn't disappear because it's flawed. Sometimes it disappears because someone with power decided it should. Sign language survived anyway, that's the part worth remembering.